There we are. Got him.
Fish? Oh, what's up, everybody? Joe Simons like diamonds. Luke is on first.
Think we've got a snook.
We're out here early morning. We're live, doing a little Topwater versus PADDLETAIL. Luke's got slam shading on.
The Bama.
We got what, a nice trout?
Snook.
Little snooky.
Yeah, decent size one. We'll take it.
Out here at really the bottom of the tide. Yes. And we wanted to go inside these mangroves and realized it was too shallow. So we're stuck on the out.
Come on there, buddy.
And so far, we're seeing some signs of life.
Come on.
I've had a few strikes. And we're just gonna show you how it all goes down, live, uncut, the good, the bad, the ugly, even when things don't go as planned.
Solid fish. Not a giant, but these things sure are fun. And I hit the old bomber and I have it on a weighted hook. Well, oh man, it just went in and got snagged on the line. I had the lure in the water.
Having a bad day.
I released the snook and it just went and got snagged. Come on there, snook.
Case of the Tuesdays.
Yeah. There we are. Yeah, those are actually right on his lip, but from the outside in. Come on there, buddy. There we are. This time I'll hold the lure.
All right, so you can, if you're listening, the sun has not come up yet. It is still, I don't know, it's 6:50 or so in the morning. We've been trying to get out here early.
Somebody was late today.
Rhymes with Joe.
Yes, after the fish, I always check the lures. This one kind of did a number on it, so I had to basically redo it. Oh, I heard a pop. The tides are kind of crummy. We're in between the moons, no great water flow, but get out here and we started hearing some fish popping. So started with the snook. Let's see what else we can get. Ooh, one just came right there.
So let's talk about the most important thing, which is the spot. Why did we pick this spot, Luke? Because we're out in the middle of just a flat.
Yeah, and this has been the trend we've been reporting on in the Insider Club. It's been very, very consistent lately, is just getting out early and getting on these big flats where there's a lot of food. And in this case, there's been a lot of food on this one. And there's a lot of fish for that reason.
What kind of food?
Anything, right? There's, in this case, there's a lot of mullet. There's also a lot of little small bait fish starting to flow in. And these predators are just out here just feeding, and the best bite has been like right now, like right before the sun crests.
These are all around us.
So we're out here at the right time. Even though we don't have amazing moons, our current flow is due to the moon phase.
The moon was basically like a sliver. Where is it? I saw it earlier.
I'm not
I
sure.
can't see it anymore. Must be down behind those clouds.
This is when
all over the place.
Yeah, this is when it's all about just getting out there and covering ground. We pass a lot of people go out there and catching live bait on the way out, and they're missing the best bite. Poor people.
Yeah, the last time we were here in this area, same thing. Like we were already done. Like caught, slam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Already done the podcast, and we're pulling out, and there's what, 3 or 4 boats.
Yeah,
still sitting there chumming up. Yeah, sun's already up. I was like, ah.
Yeah, live baiters will be out here probably another 30 minutes to an hour, pick up the scraps.
They missed it.
Yeah, a big part of it, especially during the season, during the fall, is just get out there and cover ground. Get out early, cover ground. Use
right, where's that Dr. Juice, dude? You're holding out on me.
What's that?
Where's that Dr. Juice?
Oh, it's just too tough luck.
Come on.
Hold on, let me.
Give me the juice. Juice is loose.
Gotta bring in the juice, man.
Yes, we're even putting Dr. Juice on Topwaters.
Yeah, I put on everything now.
Check out this guy. This is one of the original prototypes. The Moonwalker. The one-eyed lure. That thing is taking a beating. It's got cuts and scuff marks all over it. And gosh, we should.
I'll put it on the platform for you.
Hopefully in the next, gosh, I don't want to be wrong here, but the next 45, 50 days should have some of the final moonwalkers in. Everything's taken so long. It's absolutely nuts. But what we did is we beefed it up in terms of the hooks. We're gonna have the I'm gonna say the toughest hooks ever to be put on a topwater. Do you agree, Luke?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
And we changed up the color a little bit, a little slam shady that you'll recognize. So the Moonwalker will have a little bit of a slam shady. Oops, something's chasing mine.
Was that on you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see him following it. Let's see if I can
Slam
steal
shady
it.
color. What's Luke doing? Going right behind me like a real jerk.
So that's a little trick there. When you have somebody using topwater,
Still on me.
yeah, he's following you. Oh, I wasn't able to steal it. Rats.
Must have been the small one. Wasn't committing. I like to see those big shoulders of the redfish going out here. So we're just, I can see the bottom. I mean, we're in
Yeah, we're in super shallow water and probably
less than a foot. So don't do this in a big bait boat. But it is low tide. Even when we got to the ramp, I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Like a legit beachfront out there.
But yeah, normally at the higher tide, those fish are pushed up close to the shoreline, and so right now it seems like they're hanging out on the deeper side of the flat. Ooh, man, I heard a nice pop way out there.
Something's all right. Ah. Dang, just won't commit. They're everywhere. They're just playing with us.
Yeah, and I think what's happening though is I'm seeing the little shimmer on the water. I think what they're keyed in on, I think they're hitting the little small fry bait. So we might have to switch to 2.0.
Which is my go-to.
Yeah, or even the nub.
Because
that bait looks like it's really
small. I do.
I'm not seeing any mullet skipping away from those fish at all. So yeah,
I'm gonna give it a couple more, and then I'm gonna go 2.0.
Ooh, man, they're smacking in that little school right there. Ooh, that might have been redfish there.
Golly.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast right there. Oh, I just followed it. I'm gonna cast right there. It might have spooked off. It got really close to the boat.
That thing folded all the way up.
Oh, he didn't eat it. That was
I gotta give it a couple more. Nothing better than a topwater, especially this time of morning.
Yeah, topwater's so much fun.
But as you guys heard from a couple podcasts ago, sometimes you got to know when to fold them. Go with subsurface, soft plastic. We did a podcast recently too on shrimp, like when you use the power prawn, because that's becoming one of the top selling lures. Fishstrong.com in our store. They're like, all right, you guys use Slam Shady a lot, which is our go-to. But Luke's on again.
Another snook.
It's a little snooky. God, look at all the bait over there. All right, it's my last cast.
Fighting like he's bigger than he is.
And I'm going to
Going under the boat.
subsurface.
There we are.
Luke tricked me. It's like, hey, well, why don't we do Slam Shady versus Topwater? And you get Topwater.
Can't believe you fell for it, really. Oh, get the...
Yeah, real funny.
All right, let's get this guy up there. So they're one about the same size. These are fun size snooks, probably 23, 24 inches or so. Look right in the corner. These are actually some new hooks that we're testing out.
Oh, something just exploded on mine.
They're always testing out new gear, and these are some new hooks, a little bit wider shank. So far, so good. All right, let's find some bigger
I just had an explosion.
Yeah.
Every time I keep saying one more, I get something falling up. Just not committing. So this is my official last one. Look, something's still coming up behind it. If I don't get a legit explosion, I'm done. All right. Gotta know when to change it up. Sir, there, Moonwalker. Slam Shady 2.0 with a little juice is coming up next.
And so while we're out here, this is fall, this is time for the redfish schools to be moving around. So constantly kind of had my head on a little pivot there, looking all around on swivel and looking for a big push. The redfish, it looks like a big school of mullet, but just on steroids as far as pushing water. And hopefully we'll come across them. But we'll just be keeping an eye out. Sometimes they come up from behind you, so you always got to really just keep an eye out, be mindful of it, because when you do find them, it could be some just amazing fishing. We had our dad out, was it I guess a week and a half ago or so, and yeah, we had multiple doubles, even some triples. It was insane.
Yeah, that was nuts.
On like legit redfish.
Yeah, we saw a couple of insider members.
Yeah.
Trip too, which is pretty cool. Anytime you guys see us, come say hello. Fun meeting members.
So will you switch to the 2.0?
Yep.
All right. So we went from the topwater versus paddle tail to now big paddle tail versus small paddle tail. I would say the paddle tail beat the topwater, as expected. Usually the case.
Just so much fun on topwater.
Yeah. It's usually topwaters for thrill versus final results. However, the bigger fish, I think I feel like all the biggest trout are on topwater. Like that world record we were looking at, hit a
17-pounder?
Yeah, it's
Kidding
insane.
me?
30 said it was 39 inches. Blows my mind.
Can you imagine bringing that to the boat?
Yeah. That would be insane.
Monster.
Yes, this water is getting so shallow that we can barely run the motor. So I've got to kind of glide over this shallow spot. So we'll veer out this way. Hopefully those reds will be out. I think it's going to be a little bit too shallow to go up there near the
One other
shoreline.
boat out here. Ahead, they're sitting there on that flat. Oh, go home. Where'd all them fish go, Lukey?
Actually, no, I'm going to go for it. I'll see if we can go up there shallower.
There's something moving up there. You school of mullet. But that's what we do. Come out here, look for some signs of life. Look for like little choke points there. And normally had it been a little bit higher tide, we'd probably be fishing right there.
Yeah, if it was high tide, we'd be
super shallow over there.
We can't even get that far up. So that's typical, right? That's water. Those fish, they don't want to get stuck somewhere due to the water falling. So when that water starts moving out, they will absolutely start pushing off in the deeper water.
All right. Crazy that we're seeing so many snook out here. Usually this would be like trout central. Trout seem to have had a little bit tougher time coming back from this red tide that was here.
Yeah, those snook they are all over this flat right now.
All right.
All righty.
Come on, baby. There's something going, something spooked off.
All right, so now
If
we're
you guys
over.
still haven't tried the Dr. Juice, we've got some pretty crazy videos we've been releasing here with it. Absolutely love that stuff. Man, look at all the little small bait over here. That's just what they're feeding on,
That's what they're chewing on. You might even want to take the tail off there. If we get into them again and don't get any strikes, just take that tail off.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that little nub lure is basically, the nub is basically the paddle tail. So most paddle, like the paddle tails we do, we get them purposely designed so that they're aerodynamic in the water, right? So like there's no flat head on there. It's a nice pointed head, so that even without the tail, you can chop this tail off, and now you have like a jerk bait, like a jerk shad. It does nice darts in the water, and on situations like this, like Joe has the smaller paddle tail, it's 3.5 inches, and you take that tail off, now you have like a 2-inch bait.
But it's
what?
tough for the power fish. Because
Yeah.
you're now having you're using it's basically a little jerk shad.
Yeah, you have to start slowing it down. So that's why I only use it when like fish are feeding on little bait fish like that, and they're feeding in schools, or they're feeding like right up against the mangroves. It's dynamite. That was when I had an awesome week a couple weeks ago. Awesome day on the water. Snook were fired up, and there were redfish in there too, and trout, and they wouldn't hit anything. I caught a couple, but like they weren't like actually like constantly hitting until I went to the nub, and they started just hammering it.
The nub. Yeah, I'm just not seeing any mullet jumping over here.
Yeah, it was more fishy out there in the deeper side.
So
that's where we're going.
Is pivot again.
Pretty simple. Follow the sounds.
As you're out here, just look around. And if you're not, I mean, there's a bird up there. Look for life. And quite honestly, if you don't see enough of it, move.
Ooh, right there. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That might be a shark. It was moving kind of quick, but that's a big fish. Ooh, let's see what that is.
Dang, can you see that, Joel? That wake, it looks like two things up there. Could be two little bonnet heads or something.
Yeah, it was moving real fast. But either way, that's even seeing sharks is a good sign, right? You know there's life. We obviously already know there's life there. We've got a couple fish, and this snook were popping. But seeing any sort of movement is enough to slow down and make some more casts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whatever that was at least 2.5, 3 feet, maybe more.
So if you made it this far, you'll be one of the first to know. Got a couple new molds that we're continually working on. It's been really fascinating, and I can't wait to share the whole process with you with these molds. What are we on, number 4 or something on one, Luke? 4 or 5?
Of revisions?
Yeah. So they actually send you, like, you know, the 3D version, the 3D printing version, and you get a couple.
Yeah, and it's the actual mold too. It's like just a single cavity mold, and that way you can, you got something on you.
Yeah.
That way you can test it out, make sure it looks right in the water, and we've just been very picky, as we are with everything we put Salt Strong name on, and so this next round should be it though. The other one was almost perfect. It didn't have, this is a shrimp lure, and it didn't have the right glide in the water. Ooh, we just spooked a redfish up there. Yeah,
so we're in a unique, kind of advantage because we've been around for 6 years. We have a company that's still growing and getting new members every day, and we have lures that just flat out work and keep selling like crazy. So we're not in a massive rush. Like, we're not going to put something out unless we 100% know that it is the absolute best. Like, it's going to crush it. And so we keep getting revisions. Like, no, let's change this one thing. Whereas, 5 years ago, if we'd been relying on that, we'd be like, all right, we just got to take it to market. And so it's been really cool to kind of really take our time and just get, the right formula, perfect. 2 different lures.
Oh man, I've had fish follow mine up the last 2 casts.
But we're also realizing why it.
Yeah, and so we're doing that with soft plastics as well as jig heads and weighted hooks. So constantly trying out new things. Now I have some contacts who can make both jig heads and weighted hooks. And it's just always looking for just whatever little small tweaks that make a big impact. And so that's what I'm just testing out a new one right here today. And then continue making tweaks and tweaks and tweaks. And as soon as we find one that, okay, this is it, we've got it, then at that point, we'll start producing them.
This stuff ain't cheap though. Just for one mold, like $15,000, which now we're realizing why more people don't do that, right? I mean,
there we are. Oh, got off and almost hooked Joel over there.
What was it, can you tell?
I couldn't tell, but it was a solid fish.
Oh, always solid when you miss them. That was right at the boat too, huh?
That was very close. Yeah, it followed it up. I had a couple follows, and I started doing a little pause and twitch right before the boat, and that one came up and slapped it. Whoa, there we go. Aha. Oh, that might be a trout. It's biting a little trouty. No, that was a snook. Or if that was a trout, that was a giant trout.
That was a snook. All right, so the Joe Meister just lost one at the boat. Does not count. Although my confidence is higher. It's got a strike there. So what was funny, I've been just doing straight retrieve this whole time because we're so shallow. I paused it because Luke had just said And I was about to say something and that thing hit. So I did little pop, pop, little pause.
Always smart to test out different retrieves.
And the importance of testing and listening to see if someone on the boat's catching more than you, watch what they're doing. We talked about that with depth control on the one.
Yeah.
And then you also have cadence, AKA your retrieve speed and letting it drop. That drop is so powerful. And that's, ooh, a hit there. That's why these paddle tails are so cool. You know, and you see them in the water and they drop and all of a sudden it's sinking and just even put out more force, more vibration.
Yeah, it really is. It really is hard to beat. I mean, it's no shock why, you know, interviewed a lot of people in the podcast and filmed with a lot of different professionals, and I can't think of any that didn't say a paddle tail as their like number one just go-to lure for just covering it all, right? Like if you're gonna go in a new spot and like what would you have the most confidence in? And the answer is paddle tail.
Yep.
They just flat out work.
And we asked them if you can only have one color. Most people said white, which is why Slam Shitty works so well. You got white plus
There we are.
the gold and silver
trout.
flakes.
That's the trout there. All right, so now we need a redfish and we'll have our slam.
Good job, Luke.
Not a giant one, but
Someone's catching some fish here.
Came up and smacked it. Come on there, fella. Oh, quick release. So one thing I've been doing, and I learned this from Peter Deeks, who's just an awesome live bait guy, is out here we have mostly snook and or trout and redfish and smaller snook, but there's going to be some bigger ones. At least there's definitely bigger ones, and you have a pretty good shot at getting them. So I have a stronger business end right there. So I have a 2 foot leader, probably a little bit more than 2 feet, and it's 20-pound leader, and then this bottom section is 30. So I've had a ton of big snook chew through 20. This is mono, not fluoro. I don't like fluoro. Mono's a lot tougher for abrasion, and so this 30's there to withstand the bigger fish that come up and eat.
What brand mono are you using now?
Still just use Andy.
Yeah.
Just basic, but again, all of them work.
So much bad information out there about fluoro. And
Yeah.
it's one of those that, like newer anglers especially, they're like, oh man, I gotta have that fluoro. And they go buy fluoro leader line. You just don't need it. And we did, so we know, we get it. Just don't need it.
100%. Ooh, look at that fish. Oh my gosh, that's a big something coming right at us.
Joel, can you see this? I'm not gonna move, but that thing is throwing like a legit wake.
See, I can't tell which way it went. That is a very, very big fish. Ooh, man.
Yeah, that was a big fish, dude.
It hasn't spooked off, so it's around here somewhere. Let's see if we can get that one to eat.
I'm going deep. He went that way.
Ooh, that was a big fish. That was definitely not a 20-inch fish there. That was an overslot something, or maybe possibly a shark. That one was swimming more like a red. Sharks kind of do like darting, and they kind of turn directions pretty frequently. Ooh, that was a big fish.
Yeah, it was.
Whew, I got the heart racing.
But anyhow, you don't need the fluoro. And it's funny. I mean, a lot of it comes down to marketing, just like most things in life. But you ask some of these companies, like kind of like back up, hey, yeah, you say it could be more abrasion resistant, and there's no real studies on it, except like the ones that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. And especially the whole fluoro leader versus just fluoro mainline to be 4 to 5 times more expensive. And it appears to kind of be the...
More than that.
Depending on what the brand it is. Sometimes 10 times more expensive.
Where's that big fish is what I'm wondering.
All you need is that mono. And we're trying to get one more fish. And
I'm trying to get that. We got to find that redfish school.
we might have to bolt and maybe do a podcast on that, on how to find redfish schools.
Yeah, so we brought the drone out today. So once the sun comes up, the goal is to get on some of these redfish schools and get just to see how those fish react to it. Is it the ones in the front or ones in the back, or just whichever one sees the lure first, which one comes up and grabs it?
So to be clear, we're using the drone to get the strike, not to find redfish schools.
Yeah, I mean, when you find the school, they're easy to find from the water. You don't need to get a drone.
They're easy when they appear and it's calm like this.
Yeah.
A little bit tougher when it's super windy, but yeah, you will know.
Yeah, there's no mistake.
And sometimes you'll see birds diving around them. Sometimes you'll see flounder skipping. I don't know if you guys saw that yet. That was something we kind of caught on the GoPro. Remember we talked about it, we're like, was that a flounder?
Yeah, that was insane.
Like levitating on top of the water?
Yeah, it was almost like tail walking. It looked like a rock skipping on the water, like for like 30 feet. It was insane. And fortunately, Joe had the head cam on and captured it. But it was 100% a flounder, and you could see it just skipping on the surface. Really cool. I didn't realize that redfish would be eating them, but I guess it makes sense. Bottom feeders come across some tasty flounder fillets. I mean, you can resist that.
Or maybe it was just scared because I've never seen a school that big. Right? I mean, if you're sitting there and,
yeah.
Ooh,
There was something.
All of a sudden you, basically it's like a herd of elephants coming behind you, I'd be running too.
Yeah.
Like 100 overslot redfish.
Yeah, it was a big school, and it was, you got to it first. Yeah, we just hooked up with one of them, and the school will get excited. Obviously, they'll spook off. One of the fish starts going crazy. And so the school started heading off this one direction and basically went straight toward where that flounder was. And man, when that school got close to him, it was insane.
All right.
Skipping on the surface. All right, I'm seeing a little activity up here on the surface. No redfish pushes. I've got confidence they're around here somewhere.
I feel like that's a spot out there.
Ooh. That sounded good.
The mic might even pick that up.
That's just so shallow right now. These fish are pushed up super shallow.
Oh, a little hit there.
Yeah, what we have here is just really shallow grass. This is a little skiff, and we can barely get up to where these fish are feeding. Another good thing about these paddle tails is that you can cast them a good distance, even rigged on these weedless hooks. The weighted hooks will skim right over the grass. Ooh, there's a nice fish we just spooked off right there.
Let's see if intercept them by chance. Sometimes you just never know. But yeah, guys, it's gonna be a legit fall here before too long. See, I've got my jacket on just because we run out here, it's kind of cold. And the mosquitoes were out in packs. But man, I love that fall. And in the winter, I mean, that's one of our favorite times. One, you can sleep in a little bit. And two, fish are super predictable in the winter. And that was where we needed the most help, because we would just give up. Wintertime, I think, is probably when most inshore anglers just like, oh yeah, you're gonna sit inside or go hunting, which is also fun. But
yeah, we used to think, oh, a cold front just came in, this fish have lockjaw. That was a term we used to use all the time.
Yep.
They're not gonna feed today, and now it's some of my favorite times to fish.
Yep.
Because you know exactly where they're gonna be.
Great. All right, well, let's close it up and we'll punch up.
Sounds good.
Let's see if we can find that school and do maybe another whole podcast on it. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. Like I said, this is just one of those live ones where you get to see exactly what we have to deal with on days where it's not ideal. Got here a little bit late. Not much water flow. We're at the very bottom. Oh, I had to hit there right when it hit the water.
Yeah, in between the moons, we're on the bottom of one of those little minor tides where it has like a little boop boop, like a little small little tweak in the tide chart. But This is the power of getting out in the twilight.
Yep.
Those fish were feeding nice.
And the beauty of it is, I mean, it's, what's 7:30? So, I mean, we'll be back in the office for, whoa, for a full day of work. So you're gonna put that on slow-mo.
Yeah.
This could be one that,
Yeah, we just spooked a nice fish too.
oh, you're gonna blame that on my cast?
Mm-hmm.
Let that thing go. Yeah, the beauty of it is you can catch a few fish and still be back at the office.
Yeah, well, the fact that it's so early and there's been a lot of redfish around, like, you know, as far as ultimate goal is to go out and get slams. So I'll be confident we get a slam. This might be it right here.
Are you kidding me?
I was just talking
On
about
the close?
So you gotta. Sometimes you have to talk about the fish to catch them. I can't tell if it's a red or a snook, but this is a bigger fish.
That's hilarious. It's so funny how many times that we've been closing and a fish is caught.
Let's see. Oh, it's a snook. It's a nicer one. Oh, there we are. Quicker
Right.
release.
Well, that's how you do it there. Today's was Luke's day. Jojo, not so much. Not so much.
Or the
Bert's coming
ultimate-
over by here.
Or it's just the ultimate fall lure. Then that's this bomber here. This thing. This
Yeah,
is my
I will,
go-to.
I will endorse that.
I would like to say that it's to my fishing prowess, but this lure has been it.
Bomber, I mean, you could even see, I mean, he's getting out. That thing will cast another extra
Yeah,
10, 15, 20 feet.
casting farther, and it has good action when you reel fast.
Put a little Dr. Juice on there. Woo,
Yeah.
baby boy. So that's it, guys. Thank you for all the love, all the support. And if you haven't joined us in the Insider Club, come over there and join us. About to hit 26,000 members here. It's some really cool stuff. I cannot wait for you guys to see the changes in the community. It's we're still probably another 2 months out, just because this stuff takes a long time to really get it right, and you don't want to screw up, something that so many people are using every single day and every single hour. So we're taking it slow, but we got a lot of developers working on it. It's going to be really awesome. As I mentioned, a lot of new products, some really cool tackle coming here for next year. And because we've been getting so big, we're getting stuff at better pricing now, and we're going to be able to start offering like 30% off on a lot of our kind of proprietary tackle that's coming out. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
And of course, some new fishing coaches, so a lot of education that we'll be piling on as well, a lot of new how-to. And hit us up, any questions you have. We obviously put all these podcasts on saltstrong.com in the fishing tips section, and you can leave a little comment and it comes right to Luke and I.
And speaking of custom tackle, another thing I'm using that Joe isn't is these are prototype Salt Strong rod and Salt Strong reel. Can't get too close. It's secret.
Come on now.
But this
What a
thing has
tease.
been an absolute pleasure to fish with. I've tested out a bunch of rods over the years, and this thing is legit, and this reel packs a punch too. So
Yep.
coming probably early next year.
Just a little ray right here.
Just so you know.
Look at that weed line. That's perfect little setup there. Yeah, the little ray was right there. Cool, guys, that's it. We off. We're gonna try to go find a little redfish school before we head back in. Mm-hmm. And man, birds starting to show up. Looking good.
Looking good. Sun's just starting to come out, so.
And those guys over there, look, they're still getting live bait. All right, on that note, we out. Peace.